So I'm going to start off with just a little bit of background about Keep Durham Beautiful. So I know some of you have probably participated in litter cleanups with us before, or other events, or you're on our listserv, so you're pretty familiar with what we do. But for a little bit more background, Keep Durham Beautiful was founded in 2004. We work very closely with the city and county of Durham. And we really believe that everyone in Durham should have access to clean, green, and beautiful outdoor spaces. So we work with our partners, we work with volunteers like you all to make that happen. So we do volunteer opportunities, tool lending, educational programming, resource coordination, that sort of thing to make that happen. And we really try to listen to residents and community members about the resources and support that they need to complete the projects that they want to see in their communities and use our resources to make that happen. So that's a little bit about Keep Durham Beautiful. And a little bit about litter leaders, which is going to be you guys. So litter leaders are volunteer leaders that are committed to litter prevention in Durham. So you're going to be trained in how to lead a litter cleanup with Keep Durham Beautiful, sort of how safety works, the procedure for all of that, and a little bit of volunteer leadership as well. So once you've finished this training, you'll be able to lead litter cleanups with us and be an advocate for litter prevention in Durham. You know some trivia now you can throw out at events, you can share with your friends. So we need litter leaders all year round. We have people asking to do litter cleanups all the time. And these are some of the times where we have the most, where we're a little busier, we have more litter cleanups than usual. You can see that Creek Week is coming up very soon. So that's one. I know some people are in this training today just to prepare themselves for Creek Week. They might already be leading something. So that's one thing to keep in mind. We'll be busy throughout April. But a lot of the reason we need this help is Keep Durham Beautiful has a staff of 3 people. So when we have events on weekends or other times during the day, it's hard for us to be in multiple places at once and get everything done and support as many people as possible. So that's why we need litter leaders to help us. We worked with around just over 6,000 volunteers in 2022. And again, we wouldn't be able to do that without help from litter leaders and other trained volunteers that really make that happen. So after this training, again, you'll be able to lead groups of volunteers in picking up litter, or you can plan your own events. So we have plenty of people reaching out to us that would like some leadership to be there at an event that they're holding, a litter cleanup they're having. And we will send out those opportunities to you for you to see if you're available to help lead those. But again, you can always plan your own cleanup. So if you have a group of friends or a work group or a neighborhood that you want to do an event with, we can help you set that up, connect you with the tools for you to lead that event for that group as well. So you also will be a resource for your community, since you will know a little bit more about litter and how litter works in Durham and how to get rid of it the most easily. So you'll be a resource for the other people nearby after this training as well. So how this actually works is we'll reach out to you when we have volunteer leadership opportunities. So probably it will be Dawn, because she does manages most of our volunteer events. So you'll get emails from Dawn saying, hey, we have these upcoming events. We would really love to have people help lead these. And you just respond, let Dawn know you're available. We try to have usually 2 litter leaders per event, just so you're not on your own. It's really nice to have someone else there to back you up and help out. Dawn's my sidekick today, helping me out. So if I forget anything, she can jump in. Same thing with a litter cleanup. It's really nice to have someone to back you up when you're doing it. And then, so you guys are already going to check off that first requirement, which is just completing this training today. And then we ask that people after the training, if you're still interested in being a litter leader after the training, obviously, you do at least 6 hours throughout the year. So litter cleanups are usually 2 to 3 hours. So that ends up being just 2 to 3 events per year. So it's a pretty low requirement, but if everyone's doing 2 or 3 events per year, it really makes a difference and helps us increase our capacity for litter prevention in Durham. And are there any questions, or are we good to keep going? Good. All right, we'll keep rolling. So I'm going to go through sort of what leading a litter cleanup looks like through all the steps. Stuff is a little bit, it's not necessarily in chronological order, so bear with me on that, but hopefully we'll cover everything. If you have questions during, feel free to jump in as well. So the first part of leading a litter cleanup is having an event to do. So you're going to pick a project. So again, if you pick a project that Dawn offers, you'll have that one, or if you want to do your own, we can set that up as well. So we'll help with the coordination with the group contact if it's another group that we're doing. So, we'll facilitate that communication just to make sure everyone's on the same page about time, place, that sort of thing. We have lots of spots we go to all the time, but those are all sort of fielded from volunteers noticing litter on the community and sharing those locations with us. So if a group reaches out and they're in a certain area of Durham, we'll help them pick a place near there that we're familiar with, or if they sometimes come to us with a place already in mind, we'll set that up as well. So it's kind of picking a location is up to anything, those sorts of factors. But the most important thing is sort of to be familiar with your site beforehand. You can do a site visit if you want, if you have time to just swing by, check it out, know where there's parking, know where the trash usually is, where does it build up in that area. Those are really good things to know beforehand. If you're not able to go to the site, we have, for the sites that we go to most commonly, I think there's about 20 of them that we have these litter hotspot information sheets for. And these will be shared with you tomorrow when I send out this Google folder with all of our resources for litter leaders. But the ones we go to most often have these, and they are just a really helpful resource to sort of get to know the site without having been there before. This is an example over here for Longmeadow Park, but it sort of says where it is. It gives you a little indication of where parking might be best, where the trash builds up. So at Longmeadow, it's along the creek here. A lot of the trash washes down there with the rain. It tells you who you might need to check in with. We can do this for you. We can facilitate the checking in with DPR, that sort of thing. And then it also has like potential hazards. So if a place has a bunch of poison ivy or an area that's steep like this, we'll put that on there as well. So these are things that you can go ahead and share with volunteers at the event as well. Some of them have watershed information and history of the site on them as well, a little further down. And that's, again, stuff that you can share with volunteers if you want to. You're by no means required to, but sometimes it's interesting to get a little context of the space and know where that trash that you're picking up and removing from the environment, where it would go if it wasn't diverted from those places. So. The other thing you need before a litter cleanup is you need some supplies. So we will prep the supplies for you. You probably won't have this many tools. This is a very large litter cleanup right here. But you probably have maybe 1 or 2 bags of litter grabbers, and then some of these green bags. All of this will have litter grabbers, gloves, safety vest, trash bags, recycling bags, a first aid kit, and then a clipboard with a sign-in sheet, which is also our waiver, a safety guideline sheet, and a reporting form. So that will all be packed up for you, and we'll coordinate with you or with the group lead, the group contact, someone to pick it up and make sure it gets to the site for the litter cleanup. We do have a drop box here at our office, so if you're not able to come during work hours, that's totally fine. We can use the drop box as well. So I'm going to show you what those sheets look like. Since I'm not able to pass them around, I'll just put them up on the screen for a second. So this is our sign-in sheet, and it's also our waiver. It allows us to take pictures of people as well. So everyone who shows up is going to sign this, and then the email adds them to our newsletter list. So they don't have to put it if they don't want to, but it's a pretty low-key newsletter. It's twice a month, every other week. and it's has a lot of information about all things in Durham. I assume a lot of you are probably already on it, so you're familiar with it. But so this is the sign-in sheet, will be on the clipboard. We also have a safety rules and guidelines sheet that'll be with you. We're going to go through all of this in a moment, but just so you know, don't have to worry about memorizing everything. You'll have it with you. So this is there for so you know that you don't have to memorize every single safety note to share with volunteers. You have it with you as well. And then the last thing we'll send with you is this results card. So it sort of just says, where you cleaned up, how much you cleaned up, that sort of thing. And this is something you'll return to us at the end. There's also an online version, which I'll show a little later. Either is fine. We don't have a preference, whatever's easiest for you. But this is just so we know how the cleanup went, how many people, how much trash, that sort of thing. So, when we're at a cleanup, it's the day of, it's good to show up a little early. Volunteers love to show up early, so it's good to beat them there. Have them sign in as they arrive. We'll pass around that clipboard with that sign-in sheet on it, and have them sort of just hang out. Usually give them a few minutes after the arrival time to find their way. Sometimes parking's a little confusing. Lots fill up, that sort of thing. After everyone shows up, we can give an introduction and some instructions. And that's sort of the more daunting part of being a litter leader, I would say, is giving that instructions to everyone. So we'll come back to that sort of at the end. I'll do an example for you guys, which is sometimes helpful just to make it a little less daunting to talk in front of people you don't know, or people you do know. Both kind of daunting sometimes. I would really suggest doing your introduction instructions before you pass out supplies. It's kind of hard to give instructions when people are like snapping at other people with their litter grabbers, or opening trash bags and that sort of thing. So I would wait to pass out supplies. Sometimes people get antsy, but it's usually a lot easier and calmer if you wait for that. And then we also like to take a group photo before. This is just because sometimes people will slip out early and that sort of thing. So it's nice to have a big group picture when everyone's there. And then we also try to give a time for the group to meet back up at the end. Usually 15 minutes is good. Wherever you met at the beginning is a great place to just say, at 5:45, we're going to meet back at this tree, so that everyone knows. And then during the event, you should walk around, check in on people, ask them if they have questions about what they're doing, anything like that. Take lots of pictures. And then if you have the chance, join in the cleanup. But sometimes it's hard to do both at the same time. So safety is one of the biggest things. Obviously, it's one of the main things that you should share with volunteers at the beginning of a cleanup, but I'm just going to share it with you guys as well. Again, it's on that sheet. It's in that resource manual that I sent out yesterday as well. So all this stuff is very available. Don't need to worry about memorizing it all or anything like that. But general things would just be, be aware of your surroundings. Most of the places we pick up with groups are not on the side of busy roads, just because that's not great for volunteers always. So a lot of times we're in parks or other areas where there's not a worry of traffic, but of course, sometimes there is. So knowing that, again, just other hazards like poison ivy, fire ants, that sort of thing. We try to put those on the info sheets if we're aware of them. If you go to a place and it wasn't on the info sheet and you find out that there's poison ivy absolutely everywhere, please let us know. We will add it to the sheet, or we will figure out a different way to do that. So anything like that, you can let us know so we make sure to know for the next time. Another thing is just not putting sharp objects, usually like there's lots of broken glass places, into a trash bag. It could cut through the trash bag, cut the person who's holding it, that sort of thing. So we try not to put that stuff into a trash bag, at least loose. If you happen to find another container you can put broken glass into, that's totally great. And then you can, put a cap on that bottle or whatever it is you found. That's a good way to do it. But if it's a bunch of broken glass, it is all right for it to stay on the ground as well. Going along with that, anything that you're not comfortable picking up, you can totally leave. This is, we're not going to get every single piece of trash. So please don't, be too stressed about something that you really don't want to pick up. It's okay. We can leave it. If volunteers are uncomfortable picking something up and you're more comfortable, you can let them know at the beginning to just let you know and you'll come do it. That sort of thing. One of the things that people would be uncomfortable picking up would be needles. There are some places where we lead cleanups where there are quite a few needles. If we know those places, we'll put a sharps container in your bag that you pick up with all your supplies. So you'll have that to put those needles into. If you happen across one and you don't have a sharps container, one good way to do it is just to put it in a plastic bottle that you find that has a cap. Use your litter grabbers, pick up the needle, put it in the cap on, or put it in the bottle. Don't put it in the cap, that wouldn't work. Put the cap on, and then that becomes trash. Again, only if you're comfortable, but that's one way that we can get rid of those as well. And then other things, remind volunteers to stay hydrated. Hopefully we try to let them know beforehand to, dress appropriately for the weather and for the site, that sort of thing as well. So that's the safety for cleanup. And so at the end of a cleanup, after you've done all your walking around, you've taken all your pictures, hopefully collected a ton of litter, you're going to start bringing everyone back to the location. You'll have told them about that in the introduction. So they'll know when to come back, where to come back to. And this is when you'll start collecting supplies. So putting away litter grabbers, putting together all the dirty vests and gloves and that sort of thing in one place. We'll wash those. So just putting those all in a pile is totally fine. They can be together. Don't need to separate out gloves and vests. Encourage people to help you do that. It's kind of a hassle after cleanup to fit all the grabbers into a bag. It's no fun to do by yourself. Anyone who's late, make sure they have a chance to sign in. It's good to just, give a call. You might not remember who showed up late, but let them get signed in. And then we want to put the trash in 3 piles. So this is a pretty good picture. This bag over here somehow escaped. But so we have recycling bags, trash bags, and then we have our big items that won't fit in a bag. So we have 3 piles there. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about sorting and this getting picked up in just a moment. So we'll get to that. But you're going to have all these piled together. You're going to make sure the bags are tied. It makes it a lot easier for when they're picking them up if they're tied off already. So that's not another thing that they have to do when they're removing these bags. Consolidate when we needed. One of the hard parts about doing litter cleanups is we're creating more waste by putting them into trash bags. Kind of a necessary evil, but the fewer bags, the better. So if sometimes you'll have a bag that someone didn't have enough time to fill up at the end, trying to consolidate those is a good way to sort of reduce how many trash bags we're using for this as well. And you can return a bag if it was consolidated from. We'll use it again, definitely. And then I'm going to take a final picture with everyone in the group. So we'll show off all the cleanup that we did. And then at the end, you just take some time to count the bags and the items. So count how many trash bags, how many recycling bags, and then sort of make a little list of these big things that you have as well. So in terms of sorting the stuff you saw in that last picture, we do trash and recycling separate. For us, black bags are for trash and white bags are for recycling. We'll provide both of those when you pick up supplies. So you'll have all of that ready for you. Recycling is mainly going to be bottles and cans that are relatively clean. And that's just because paper products that have been outside for a long time aren't going to be recyclable always. You can use your discretion there. If you think it's still fine to be recycled, you can go ahead and do that. If a bottle is, completely full of dirt, you can throw it in the trash. If it has a little dirt on it, it was on the ground, all of this is going to be a little dirty. That's fine. A lot of times bottles and cans will have liquid in them. It's nice to just turn them over with the litter grabbers and let it drain out so that it's recyclable. It also makes your bag a lot lighter than putting full bottles of things in there. So there's that benefit as well. when in doubt, we told volunteers to just throw it out. If you don't know, put it in the trash. We don't want the recycling to be contaminated so that it isn't actually getting recycled. So if there's too many non-recyclable things in there, they can't recycle it. So if you're not sure, throw it in the garbage instead. And again, broken bottles, that sort of thing. If they're not safe to put in a bag, please don't do that. And all right, I do have a little, this is interactive, so, and I can't see people, so I'm gonna need people to maybe, we can unmute or you can throw it in the chat. Dawn can check it and let me know what's going on, but I'm gonna put some items up here and you guys just tell me what you would do with it. Does that sound good? All
right. Recycle.
Yeah, this is recycling. Sweet.
Trash.
Yep, trash. I saw Shauna say trash, even though I didn't hear it. Yeah, this is also trash. What should we do with this?
Sharps container.
Yeah, if you have one, put it in there. If not, it's okay to leave it. If you have another container you can put it in, that works too.
Recycle.
Yeah. You want to hit it, Dawn?
Yeah, this is trash. I think, well, I think that some people are saying recycle, but it's hard to know what they're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, the timing. Yeah. So these are trash. They do not biodegrade at all. There's lots of chemicals in them. Pretty sure one cigarette butt can contaminate like 2 gallons of water, just that one cigarette butt. So we want to get these up. Sometimes it's very tedious to pick up all the little micro trash, but it's stuff we need to get rid of as well. It's just as important. So yeah, these are trash.
So Kennedy says recycle. Oh wait, no, that was, maybe I'm also, or we have some people saying both. So
Okay, yeah, it's kind of hard. If this is kind of gross. You can't tell how wet it is in the picture. It's a little misleading. If it's pretty soggy, trash. If it's still dry and fine, you can recycle this. It is just cardboard. This one.
Unknown substance. Trash.
Yeah, I would throw this one in the trash. Personally, looks kind of gross. I wouldn't really want to find out what's inside, so I would throw them in the trash. Got like 2 more. This one more, I think.
Trash.
Yeah, this one's trash, and then I think this is the last one.
Trash.
Trash as well. Yep. Sweet. Thank you guys for going with that. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Sometimes there's weird stuff. Again, if you don't know, just throw it away. That's totally fine. In terms of disposal afterwards, you saw in that picture, we had 3 piles of those things. Thanks to partnerships with the city and county of Durham, we're able to get that trash picked up. So you do not have to put trash bags like in the trunk of your car or tie them to the roof of your car and like find somewhere to put them. You don't have to take them home with you or anything like that, thankfully. You're just going to let us know where you left it. So it's easy to pick a central location. If you're at a park, right beside the edge of a parking lot is great. They pick it up with a truck with a grappling hook. They like grab stuff. So make sure there's nothing like right above it, no trees or power lines that would get in the way of that. And make sure it'd be easy for a truck to pull up alongside it. But usually the side of a parking lot is great. And some of those hotspot sheets will suggest a location. You don't have to use that, but those are ones that we've used in the past that have been pretty good. And yeah, they will, and you'll let us know where that is. So when you report to us or you turn back in that sheet, just let us know, hey, there's trash bags in the corner of the parking lot right here. sometimes it's nice to get a picture, so that it's easier for them to find it. But it's really awesome that Neighborhood Improvement Services comes and picks this stuff up for us. So hopefully this is a giant one, but they would come get this even if it was that much. So that's how we get the trash afterwards. That's how we dispose of it from there. And so another part of this is just sort of promoting Keep Durham Beautiful and promoting litter prevention in Durham. Since you guys have communities of your own, I can only reach so many people in my community about this, but if we all are reaching our communities, we're reaching a lot of people in Durham that way. So please take lots of pictures, send them to us after the event. If you post them on your own, please tag us. I know Dawn would love that. Dawn will definitely repost you. Dawn does our social media. So we really love to have pictures of people doing this. And so, yeah.
And I would say like at least one picture is great. Like if you only get one picture like of the whole group at the beginning, that's fine. It's just great to be able to show people what our volunteers are up to.
I always forget to take pictures, so I usually end up with like 1 or 2, maybe 3 if I'm really on top of it. But yeah, we love to have pictures. So if you remember, it's great to have them and have them shared with us. So after the event, the last few things are just returning supplies and reporting on that. So showed you earlier, there's a reporting form that you have on paper. So you can fill that out if that's easier. If you lose the piece of paper, it blows away in the wind or gets wet or whatever. We do have an online one as well. It's on our website under volunteer reporting form, I believe. And I can send that link tomorrow if that's helpful as well. But it looks just like this. It's the same information, sort of just what was the project you were doing, how many people, and then sort of what were your results. So how many trash bags, estimate for the bulky items, that sort of thing. So you'll have that, and then we'll find a time to return supplies. Again, we're in the office during office hours most days, so you can just let us know when you want to swing by, and we'll be here to grab that stuff from you. If you need to come after work or on the weekend, if that's easier, we have the drop box. Totally welcome to just drop stuff in the box and let us know it's there. And so we can do all the laundry. And then another thing is just, I don't go to all the spots. I have been to a lot of them, but we're not at every spot all the time. And sometimes we haven't been to a spot in a while and something's changed. So it's really helpful if you all go to a site and you realize that there's something that wasn't mentioned on the information sheet beforehand, just letting me know so I can update those so that when the next group goes, they have more accurate information. That's how those sheets were created in the first place. They were kind of crowdsourced. So keep doing that and they'll hopefully be really helpful for volunteers. So sort of putting all of that together, we kind of went a little bit roundabout there. I don't know if you guys have your manuals that I sent in that email yesterday with you. They kind of have the same information as this training in there. So if you want to look back over it later, you can. One really helpful thing I think that it has in there is it has a sample introduction script. You are totally welcome to bring that with you. I often bring a sheet of paper with my notes on it so I don't forget anything, especially if I'm incorporating like history or watersheds, that sort of thing. You're totally welcome to write everything down and just read off of it if that's easier. But we do have that for you. I don't know, in the past, people have said it's helpful for me to do sample one of the introductions, which I'm happy to do now. If someone will give me a fake or real imagine location where we're doing a cleanup. Does someone have a place where I should pretend we're cleaning?
Why not Longmeadow Park, since
Okay.
we're always going to be doing events there?
Yes, Longmeadow does. You clean it up and 2 weeks later you clean it again, but we do go there a lot. So I'll give you guys a little introduction script for you just to sort of see how it goes, since this is the sort of most involved part of leading a litter cleanup. So pretend we're at Long Meadow Park right now, instead of in front of our computers. So hi everyone, my name is Ellie. Thank you so much for coming out today to participate in this litter cleanup at Long Meadow Park. It's so wonderful to have all of you here, have everyone supporting litter prevention in Durham. My name is Ellie. I'm with Keep Durham Beautiful. I'm a litter leader, which means I'm a volunteer trained in how to lead litter cleanups with Keep Durham Beautiful. A little bit of background about Keep Durham Beautiful. Keep Durham Beautiful is a nonprofit here in Durham, trying to work towards having clean, green, and beautiful spaces for everyone in Durham. And part of that is picking up a lot of litter. So that's what we're going to do today. Again, thank you so much for doing this. All the litter that we pick up here at Long Meadow is going to be, there's a creek that runs right through the park right here. It's Goose Creek. And when it rains, all of that trash goes right down into the river or into the creek, flows from that into Ellerby Creek and then into Falls Lake, which is the drinking water for Raleigh. So all the trash that we're picking up today, we're removing from that watershed. We're hoping to make sure that there's good, clean drinking water for everyone, and a good, clean, natural space for both people and for the wildlife that lives in this park. So just a little bit for logistics. We're going to clean up along the creek here. We'll split up into little groups. We're going to have two kinds of bags: black bags for trash, white bags for recycling. And for us, mostly bottles and cans will be recycling. If paper's soggy or really dirty, it's not going to be recyclable, so that can go in the trash. If you're not sure about something, it can go in the trash as well. That way we don't have contaminated recycling. We can also collect things that do not fit in bags. So if you find a tire or something that is too big to go in a trash bag, we'll make a separate pile of that. We're going to pile our bags right here in the corner of the parking lot. We'll make one bag for white trash bags, one for black, and one for those big items that we can't fit in a bag. If you find something that you're not comfortable picking up, please don't pick it up. It's fine to leave it, or you can let me know. I'd happily pick it up for you. If you find anything sharp, we'll try not to put that in the bags loose because it can cut through the side of the bag, can hurt you, and we really don't want that to happen. If you happen to find needles, we have a sharps container here for you to put them in. You can let me know and I can bring that over to you. We'll dispose of those that way to keep everyone safe. If anyone has questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be walking around throughout, taking some pictures. Please take plenty of breaks to drink water and rest. And we'll meet back here at 6 o'clock. So that is just a quick little sample of it. You're welcome to add on to it, or, you know, if you don't want to include the watershed stuff, you don't need to. Mainly we're just trying to convey a lot of that safety stuff as the really important part of that. Does anyone have questions about this sort of the introduction and how that part goes? So, now that you guys have gone through the training, what happens next? So tomorrow morning, I will share the Litter Leaders resource folder with you, and I'll show that to you in just a second when I finish presenting. I don't want to try and switch my screen right now. I'll get confused. I'll share that with you. So that has a copy of that manual again, that has all the information from this training. It also has this PowerPoint in there. It has all those information sheets. So it has all of that stuff in there. If you need anything, it'll be found in there. And then we'll reach out with opportunities. You'll be added to our list of litter leaders, and we'll reach out to you when we have opportunities. It's really great if you guys want to feel a little more comfortable before leading cleanup to shadow someone. So that's also an opportunity to shadow either a staff member or an experienced litter leader. We have Creek Week coming up, which is the 18th through the 25th. There's going to be a ton of litter cleanups. They're all on our website. That'd be a great way to sort of just familiarize yourself if you haven't been to one of our cleanups before. Some of them are not through us, some of them are through other partners as well. But again, just getting a feel for a litter cleanup, that'd be a really great way to do it. And those are all on our website. It's also durhamcreekweek.org. So all those events are up there if you want to sign up for something and just sort of get a feel for how it is in practice. yeah, we'll reach out to you with opportunities. If you want to create your own opportunity, that's awesome, and we will help you make that happen. You just let us know. If you know a location, you're good to go. If you need us to help you pick a location, we can help with that as well.
For those self-led events, is there like a minimum amount of people that have to show up?
No, not at all. So if you have you want to do it with, just like 3 friends, that's great too. That's, 4 people worth of litter that's off the streets or off our roadways. So we do not have a minimum at all. You might want a maximum at some point because you might be overwhelmed.
Yeah, and for certain locations, like if you know where you're going and we're familiar with that area, we might recommend a certain amount of volunteers. Like if you show up, like Longmeadow Park, for instance, can take probably like 50 plus volunteers because the creek is pretty long. It always has a lot of litter. There's also other places where people can walk around, but some areas, if you brought 50 people, you would get all the litter within like 20 minutes and then be walking around bored. So we'll generally recommend an amount if we're familiar with that area.
Yeah, and again, on some of the information sheets, it also has a sort of recommended number. So if you want to look through those beforehand and pick a spot, and you have an idea of how many people you'd have, that's a good place to go as well. So I'll send out this link as well tomorrow. But this is a little survey just to let us know how the training was for you. This is the first time I've led one on Zoom. So let me know how to make it more engaging, things like that. If there's anything that you wish I'd included, please let me know. You could take a picture of that QR code now if you want, or I'll send it out tomorrow as well. I did just want to take a moment before I take a bunch of questions and show you a couple of the things I've mentioned. We do have other litter prevention programs I just want to let you know about if you're interested in those as well. Our Adopt a Street program is where groups or individuals, companies, anything, decides to pick a 1 mile stretch of city maintained road and commit to cleaning it up once a month for a year. So that's sort of a long-term in the same spot kind of litter prevention. So if there's a road near you that is consistently littered, this is a great way to sort of care for that area and become sort of a steward of that place in particular. So that's a really great opportunity. And, we do a long-term loan of tools. So you have tools, you do it whenever is convenient for you, and you just let us know how it went. If you've seen the signs around Durham that say Keep Durham Beautiful, those are for our Adopt a Street groups. And then we have our Litter Kits in Schools program, which is kind of exactly what it sounds like. We have 21 schools in Durham that have fully stocked litter kits to encourage some litter education. It comes with a curriculum as well. We're adding 10 more schools in the coming months. And that's sort of, we want it to be litter prevention. A lot of this is litter cleanup after the fact, but we'd love to do more that is preventing litter before it happens. So that's one of our programs that's sort of aimed at that goal. And all of these have pages on our website if you want more information as well. And then the last thing I'll say is our tool lending library. There's a form you can fill out. If you need any tools, litter tools or garden tools, you have a project you want to do with a group and you need tools, we have tools. So this is a great resource for any projects you might be doing. There's a form to fill out our website and we'll communicate back with you and find a time for you to pick up those tools to make sure your project gets done. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.